Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Miscellaneous Minds Podcast. I'm your co-host, Boom Gato, the cat that hands you your trust fund back. And to my left over here is the main man, Sister Narrow, the man that makes the fat stacks. Together we form the dynamic duo that won't die. Deadly ideas, blood, and spicer content that you're only fans. What is going on, everybody? Before we get into tonight's topic, please make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit. And with that, let's get right into it. So, we previously did a topic involving this particular individual. Hasan Anabi, or Hasan Abi, however the fuck you pronounce the motherfucker's name. In our preparation for that particular video, my man here brought some stuff to my attention that I was not aware of. That made me think even less of this individual. So, what is my beef with Hasan Abi? So, my first introduction to Mr. Hasan was when he started appearing on the Young Turks. I watched the Young Turks. Along with a lot of other left wings, the David Pakmans, the Secular Talk, different individuals like that, as well as some of the right wing TV that I watch. And I was first introduced to Hasan on the Young Turks. My understanding is, and don't quote me on this, but eventually Hasan said some bombastic things that I don't want to say got the Young Turks in trouble, but, you know, got a little bit of heat to them, a little bit of hot water. So they ended up saying, hey, Hasan's no longer going to be part of the show. Hasan eventually went off, started his own show, became super popular. All right, cool. No problem with that. It is what it is. Man's did what he had to do. Not mad at anything so far. What I am bothered by after he started his own show is he became very arrogant. He became, the guy that I saw on the Young Turks was not the guy that I saw in his own show now. Very complete 180, different individual. It didn't happen right away. It happened over a little bit of time, but, you know, as his popularity grew, I saw the man start to change. Now, I don't know him personally, so I can't speak to his personal character. Maybe he's just putting on a character for the show. I couldn't tell you. But I do know that the man started to change the way that he argued about things, the way that he came at things. He became more of a socialist. He became more hardcore in his socialist values, so whatever you want to call it. I don't know. He just became more and more left wing. He started going more and more hard to the left, which again, even that I've had a problem with. I'm not that far left myself, but listen, I can understand how someone would eventually make their way there with some of the things that he believes in. No problem at all with that. But this man started silencing voices in his chat that did not automatically agree with them, abandoning them, kicking them off, saying you can't come on, moderators get him off, so on and so forth, blah 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 blah. Now, not too long after he became super popular and, you know, had his own channel and blah blah blah, apparently the man bought a multi-million-dollar home in a very rich part of the country, which to a lot of us was like, well, wait a minute, if you believe in socialism, my man, what's going on there? Now, some people argue just because he bought a multi-million-dollar home doesn't mean he's not a socialist, blah, blah, blah. I've heard some people say, oh, well, he donates money, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. If you want to make that argument, fine. I disagree a little bit, but fine. Not just that, but his arguments, the way that he used to debate compared to how he debates now, it seemed to have fallen off a cliff. It seemed like, again, when he was on the Young Turks, I feel like he was great at posing arguments, posing counter arguments, asking the right questions. And it feels like as soon as he got off on his own, he started putting less effort into that. Now, again, that might have been some of the arrogance that I was talking about, some of the money that I was talking about, some of that all coming together and kind of making somebody who didn't previously have all of that, I thought, much more arrogant and much more self-aggrandizing, and maybe that's why. So I'll be honest with you, my biggest beef is I feel like as he's gotten more money, he's turned into the exact thing that he hates. All the values that he said he has for the everyday working man, for the this, the that, I don't feel like they're true. Again, just because you're a socialist doesn't mean you have to live in a poor way, doesn't mean you have to live average, doesn't mean none of that. I completely agree that it doesn't mean that. But let's be honest here. For someone that talks about the everyday working man, and I understand the struggles and blah, 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 no, the fuck you don't. You're a multi-motherfucking millionaire with a lot of money, with a nice-ass house in a nice-ass part of the country and a nice part of that particular part of the country. So for this man to be out here and bombasting all these people that are, if not on the same level of richness or richer than him, and saying, yeah, you guys must pay more taxes. Listen, my man, I hope you better be paying your motherfucking taxes. You better be fucking paying your fair share. Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of times in these instances, people that go so hard to one side often are found to be liars. I'm sure you've heard plenty of Republicans that are all pro-family values, and it turns out they're, banging their gay coworker, one of their people on their campaign. It turns out, they have a family in a separate country. They have a mistress that they've now asked for the third time to have another abortion, so on and so forth. So I feel a very similar vibe here, where a man goes so hard to one side, and yet the way that he lives in his lifestyle doesn't seem to be living that same lifestyle that he so much claims to love and be about. Now, I'm going to let my man here take over in just a sec, because some of the things that he brought to my attention, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know until very recently, which further proves my point that this man doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about when he's talking about the plight of the everyday man. Of the man that goes from a 9 to 5, that works a hard day's work, that, may not necessarily have $1,500 as he boasts in his own statistics. If an emergency should arise, I don't think he knows any of that. I don't think he knows what the fuck he's talking about. Now, just because you don't know what you're talking about doesn't mean you can't be empathetic. But when people dissent against him, he's not empathetic. In fact, he's like, get him off. Get him off my channel. I want nothing to do with the same dismissive way that the Ben Shapiros treat anyone that dissents against them. The same way that who's that guy that likes to dress like a woman all the time? He's right-leaning. Crowder. The same way that Crowder treats dissenters against him. Makes them feel like dog shit. All that. He treats dissenters against him the same way. So are you really different than them? Yes, you may believe in different values. You may think socialism, they may think capitalism, but if you treat people the same way that they treat their dissenters, are you really that different? I'm going to let you take over, my man, because I've had enough of this motherfucker, but I'm going to let you jump in.
Okay, so it was been a long-standing rumor, or at least a long-standing suspicion among people on the internet, that people were like, I think low-key Hasan might come from money. It was never confirmed. It was always people's suspicion. Now, as it turns out, those people's suspicions were in fact correct. And it was even corroborated by none other than Hasan himself. Apparently, he didn't say he came from money, but let's be honest. There's a couple of hints that even if you look at his Instagram page, you're like, this motherfucker comes from money. Let me explain. So, this man's father goes by the name of Mehmet Piker. Mehmet Piker actually was a vice president and also a member of the board for a company in Turkey by the name of Sabancı Holdings. What is Sabancı Holdings? Sabancı Holdings is a company that has a bunch of hands in a bunch of cookie jars. They do stuff like real estate, electrical, engineering, infrastructure, blah, 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 blah. They basically are a company that's in charge of several other companies. Now, this company itself has a net worth of $5.44 billion, with a B, billion dollars. And his father is a board member of that. And look, fine. If you want to say, okay, maybe he's rejecting his father, maybe he's like going against his father by doing all this, fine, whatever. A couple years back, Hasan actually did a Father's Day post in a fucking odd time of the year, but he was saying how, he used to be, up in arms against his father, but now he's come to realize, that his father is like grown a lot over the past couple of years. And I understand that. Sins of the father, right? The sins of the father shouldn't affect the child, right? However, if you see the vitriol, the tenacity, the venom that he had for Destiny, can you imagine talking to Ben Shapiro like that? I could never talk to Ben Shapiro like that. Associate him with him in that manner. Right? That's what he's talking about, right? He's saying if you're in close proximity like that and you're talking to them almost friendly, like engaging in conversation, you must be on some level bad, right? That's what we're getting at. This man, not only is he part of a company, $5.44 billion, in net worth. This man, a couple months after Hasan made that post about this man I used to butt heads with a lot as a kid, has grown a lot in the couple years that I've now come to know him as I've grown a man. Months after that post, he was one of the founding members for a far-right party in Turkey. And keep in mind, again, sins of the father, but Hasan himself said, anybody that associates with people like that are scummy. They're scum of the earth. You shouldn't associate with people like that. My man, that's your father. Not only are you super rich, but he is a part of a far-right conservative party in Turkey. Imagine, you know how rich this motherfucker was? He posted a high school pic, like a throwback pic of him in high school, riding a horse in full equestrian riding back gear. My man, if it was in a t-shirt and jeans and they just happened to find a horse, fine. No, this man had full equestrian horseback riding gear. You don't just do that a one-off. That sounds like a hobby, my man. How do you have horse riding as a hobby? You know how expensive a horse is? Taking care of it, housing it, engaging in competition? That's fucking expensive. That's fucking expensive.
Listen, man, I think that's why these people that are so far into one side of anything, the far left, the far right, they're just so deep into their own BS that they buy into it. They truly believe it. But if you just dig just a little bit, you find out that they're full of shit. Here's the thing, my man. While I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. I honestly don't give a shit if the man's father is rich. That doesn't bother me. Listen, you got lucky. You were born into a rich family. But to stay, you have the values that you state you have. To be so anti the rich to the point where I'm sure if our editor does the right thing, in the thumb of this will be the make the rich pay or whatever the fuck, the stupid shirt that he was wearing on. I just saw it a second ago. To be so anti the rich when you yourself are rich is insane. Is insane. Now listen, I know a lot of people say maybe we need that. Maybe we need people that are inside of the house to open up the door for the rest of us. Hasan is not doing that. Let me ask you a question. If Hasan is really helping out the everyday class, what is he doing? Has he opened up the doors to anybody else? No, because anytime that anyone disagrees with him, he shuts them out. I haven't seen Hasan talk about opening up doors for anyone under him or helping new creators create for themselves. No, he gets his money and he has fun with it. Which again, listen, I'm capitalist. I'm a capitalist. I'm all for it. That's perfectly fine. I like to spend money too. But I'm not going to sit here and fucking pretend that I'm fucking a poor man when I come. Listen. My father is a fucking construction worker. And I'm not talking about CFO or CO. No, the man literally does hard labor. The man's out in the sun busting his ass. I'm not talking about no, he's out there. He's not, he ain't making 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100 an hour. Nah. The man's busting his ass for a day laborer's wage. My mother, house cleaner. We're not talking about I'm anti this guy because he's rich. Because listen, I don't give a shit about that. But when you pretend to have the struggles that I literally grew up with, that's when we have a beef, man. Because you don't fucking represent me. Especially the way that you treat people. You treat people just as badly as Ben Shapiro. You treat people just as badly as a fucking Crowder. As all those right-wing dudes that you claim that you fucking hate. You treat people just like that. Because again, you don't have to agree with everybody. I'm not saying just because someone comes on and dissents against you that you have to agree with their point. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, look, you say you don't have a platform to speak on my platform because I don't like what you're saying, and you kick them the hell off, or you ban them, or you mute them, or you whatever the hell you do to them. You are part of the problem, man, because listen, as much as you don't like Destiny, as much as you may say, oh, he's cozying up to the Ben Shapiros and the Fresh and Fits and the Crowders and the whoever the hell else Destiny has debated with. No, my man, no, he's not. I think when you see them have, like, listen, if you really want to make progress, whether you guys like it or not, it's not going to be the far and the left and the far right that make the changes. It's going to be the people that come to fucking arguments and say, listen, neither one of us is going to get everything we want. We need to compromise more. That's the problem is nobody wants to compromise. Everybody wants, I want the complete Medicare for all, or I want fucking no fucking healthcare for anybody. Go fucking get it yourself. Like, those people are the people, you're never going to come to an agreement with those people. Those people are the complete, they want everything they want and nothing less. And that's why the Marjorie Taylor Greens, that's why the Donald Trumps, that's why the Hassans, that's why all those people agree. Because listen, things change incrementally. Whether people like it or not, that's just how it is. It's how it's always been. And don't get me wrong, sometimes in certain avenues, even things that I agree with Hasan on, I would love to see great change. But the truth is, it's not going to happen just like that. Doesn't matter how many people we vote into office. Doesn't matter that, none of that matters. It's a matter of how we deal with this. So to see a Hasan come at this like he understand the poor man's struggle, no, the fuck you don't. You don't. You're a rich kid, and not just that, but you're a spoiled rich kid. The fact that you were able to participate in equestrian activities as a small child says a lot about your childhood, my man. Because listen, a lot of us did not have those opportunities. Now, I'll be honest with you, a lot of my family, they lived on a farm, but they worked on the farm. They didn't own the farm. They weren't running things. We worked there. So for this man to come out and really, on a daily basis, act like he understands working, man. Now, motherfucker, you don't. The same way that very, very recently, this dumbass used to be on Fox News. What's his name? Tucker Carlson. The way that, I don't know if you guys saw a video of Tucker Carlson going into a supermarket in Russia and saying, oh my God, all these groceries were only $100 when the man didn't get shit. Like that level of stupidity, because let's be honest, when's the last time Tucker Carlson really went into an American grocery store and shopped for himself? Let's be honest, probably never. The man's grown up rich. The same way that Tucker Carlson grew up rich, so did Hasan Abi. So listen, again, my beef with this man is that he pretends to be a lot of things that he's clearly not. And the more bombastic people get with these things, the more people fall for it. Stop falling for the fucking fake people like Hasan, who are clearly growing up rich but pretending to be against the rich when all they fucking give a fuck about is maintaining their little realm of prosperity. Because again, when's the last time you saw Hasan help somebody out? When's the last time you saw Hasan bring up another content creator? Create someone apart from his own, because no, all that matters to him is himself. What do you want to add to that?
Wasn't he also talking shit about MrBeast? About, oh, you shouldn't be helping out poor people like this? And I was like, my man, if you wanted to help, you could have used your money. MrBeast, again, you can criticize him for filming all that shit about making content, about helping people out. Okay, whatever your opinion is on filming charitable acts, fine. But at the end of the day, whether it looks grimy or not, he's still doing them. At the end of the day, those people are still getting their sight fixed, their teeth fixed. They're getting watering holes installed into their villages. You could say, I was like, oh, he's being the white savior. I was like, yes, but he's actually helping. What the fuck have you done?
Exactly. Listen, that's a really good point. Because I agree. Listen, if you film a charitable act, in a sense, it sort of devalues it. But listen, if you film a charitable act and it gets you more money, which you can therefore do more charity with, how can I argue against that? How can I argue? Especially because if you're truly gonna do some charity with it, great, phenomenal. When's the last time fucking you saw Hasan do some charity shit? And the motherfucker's rich. Listen, I'll be honest with you. If I give, and I've done this plenty of times, if I give $10 to a homeless man outside of Quick Trip, which again I've done plenty of times, I've given more of my wealth than Hasan has with all the money that he has, because that money represents a bigger portion of my total net worth than if Hasan was to do some shit like, if Hasan was to donate 50 grand, my $10 would be more. I'm not saying it's valued more. Clearly 50 grand will do way more than my fucking measly $10. But that goes to prove this man's point, is that what the fuck have you done? Go ahead, my man. Sorry to cut you off.
No, there was one more thing I wanted to add. And look, this goes full circle for what I wanted to talk about. So I mentioned his dad. I never mentioned once for his mother, because this is a double irony about that, right? And again, this isn't like, oh, somebody dig up some information that may or may not be true. No. Hasan also made another Instagram post about this. This is self-admitted. This is legit that Rap Snitch Kanicha song. He made a post about how he loved his mother, how he was proud of her, blah, 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 blah. I have nothing against it. If you want to be proud about your mother, fine, go ahead. If you love your mother, cool, props to you. But in that same post, he made a mention, and let me backtrack real quick. what's a common socialist point that, again, Hasan himself would say? Fuck landlords, right? Fuck landlords. Again, it's a common point. I understand it. We've had a couple landlords ourselves. We're not a fans of them. I understand that. He was proud of his mother for being a smart woman, a hardworking woman, and being holder of real estate properties. Verbatim, his words. What's a synonym for real estate holder? Landlord. My man, how? How do you reconcile that? How do you reconcile being a child of a man that you said you yourself were proud of, but he goes around and forms a far-right party, a party that you yourself disagree with, a far-right party in Turkey, and a mother that you would otherwise hate her occupation for because she is, by your own admittance, a landlord. You can pretty up the words as much as you want. Real estate holder, property manager. At the end of the day, it's the same job title. It's the same job title, same responsibilities. You're just prettying up the words. It is a landlord. At the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, it is a landlord. If that's what you're up against, then you're up against your own mother, which I doubt you are, because apparently you're so proud of her for holding a couple of real estate properties. And look, there's, again, sins of the father, sins of the mother. I get that. The problem that I have with Hasan is that the hypocrisy. It's very, very easy to say, tax the rich, make sure the rich pay their fair share. It's easy to say that when you have a gigantic ass cushion. It's easy to say, quit your job. Your managers are sucking the life out of you. These companies don't give a shit about you. It's easy to say that when you have millions of dollars to fall back on. If you could quit your job tomorrow and you had a parachute, of course you would quit your job tomorrow if you hate it that bad. We all would, but we don't have that option. Hasan doesn't know the possibility of the next paycheck could be the last. If I fuck up, this is it. This is it. This is the end of the show. I am out of a home. If you're out of a home, it is hard to bring yourself back up. Believe me, I've seen some people that went through that shit. I've seen people that lived in cars like that. It's hard. It is difficult. So for him to say, yeah, landlords suck. Again, it's easy when you're not profiting off of that money. It's easy to say all this bullshit when you don't have any sort of cushion. That's why anything he talks about, like living wage and taxing reforms, or whatever, yeah, it's easier. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's only ever had to live his life in luxury. The man got on his uncle's show, and that's how he got famous. My man is literally a Nepo baby. That's how he got his fame. He got his fame off of somebody else's hard work that was able to give him connections. And that is the exact problem that we were talking about. Hasan legit has lived nothing but a life of luxury and a life of convenience. And he is saying, hey, some of those guys need to do their fair share of charity. And guess what? He hasn't given a damn cent about that.
Listen, as part of the working class, and I mean that when I say that I'm part of the working class, I really do mean that shit. I'm not no fucking Nepo baby. I don't have millions of dollars coming at me. I'll be surprised if I have 10 grand coming at me. I'll be surprised if I have fucking that much coming at me. We're by no way rich because of our family. Don't get me wrong. We've done okay for ourselves. What I mean by okay is we have a home. We have food on our tables. We have food, water, all that good stuff, the things that you need for basic necessities. But we're by no means rich. Now, for this man who grew up rich, who's had money, to be talking about the everyday plight of the working man, listen, we'll take all the support we can get. We need it. But don't come out here talking like you know what the fuck you're talking about, like you lived that lifestyle, because you didn't. You've never lived that lifestyle. You'll never know what it's like, because again, easy to say quit your job, like my man here said, when you have that big of a cushion. We don't. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll